Hi, Chad and Jennifer here with Purple Car Life. We're back in the woods today, but not far in the woods. We are at the stump of a tree that blew over in the last windstorm. The tree actually blew from in the woods to out in our backyard. So we've got a tree here that we're going to cut up. Not exactly sure what kind of tree it is. It looks fine on the outside. If I look here in the center though, it's got some dead spots in the middle of it. So it's no wonder it fell over in the windstorm. It looked like a perfectly healthy tree, but I'll bring the camera back here and show you the entire inside of this is rotted away in the center. I think it might, again, I'm just not sure what kind of tree this is actually. The grain of it looks like maple, but the bark does not. It doesn't seem like oak. So we'll have to do some research and figure out what this is.
Come.
She's gonna get thorns in her. So here's the break of the tree here. The stump's actually split completely in half, and that actually allows us to see in here to the center of that tree, which was really rotted away.
Oh wow, there's almost nothing left in there.
No, so from the outside though, you had no idea. And that's most likely because this is a very wet area. Since we built the house and water kind of moves in different directions, and before the house was here, this area has become more wet than it was before. And I think probably too much moisture here all the time, and that kind of rotted the tree out from the center.
Pull some of that out. Yep, the rest of the tree looks good though.
Yeah.
Although that looks a little pithy there at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that'll... This might end up just being firewood for an outside fire. It may not be inside firewood. Because A, I don't know what kind of tree it is, and B, it does look like it's pithy in the middle, so we'll see when we cut into it. The Stihl MS271 Farm Boss, I mentioned in a previous video, I fixed it earlier this winter, then it stopped running right again. Well, I took it to the professionals, took it out to the local Stihl dealer. For $30, they gave it a proper tune-up, adjusted the carburetor, cleaned it all out. So far, taking these limbs off, it ran great. So one of the questions about the Stihl Farm Boss I get asked a lot is how much fuel does the 271 use? So we're gonna do a little test today. You saw I just filled up the fuel and the oil. We'll see if we can cut this entire tree up. It should be no problem to cut it up with one tank of fuel, but a little experiment as we buck up this unknown tree. I've said in a couple of videos, I actually made a whole video about my favorite, my go-to saw, which is the MS290, the original Farm Boss that I owned. The MS271 is the newer version of the Farm Boss, a little bit smaller engine, but on this particular one, I have an 18-inch bar, and on my 290, I've got the 16-inch bar. So the 18-inch bar allows me to do a couple things. First of all, obviously cut larger diameter. The other thing it allows me to do is not have to bend over quite as far to cut this limb. So if you've got a bad back, that is one advantage to a little bit longer bar, that you can be a little bit further away from the limb when you're cutting it. You don't have to bend over quite as much at the back. You'll see as I'm cutting though, most of the time when I'm cutting the tree, I'm clearing here at the dogs. That's where I prefer to be when I'm cutting wood. So this little stuff, no problem using the tip of the bar. But once I get down to the thick stuff, I'll be into the dogs because that's the safest place to keep the log. So I've seen a lot of videos lately about tips and tricks to cut your firewood even. I did a video before about how I just like to use the bar, and it kind of reminds me of The Little Mermaid. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty, who's its and what's its galore. That's what I feel like when I watch all these channels with the measuring bars and the spray paint. For me, it's just as easy to take a second, swivel the saw, and cut.
So are you saying you really don't need that many gadgets and gizmos?
For measuring firewood, no.
Oh, I see.
The included measuring tape on my chainsaw is enough.
I see.
So far we've made it just to past the saw. Right there's our latest cut. And you know, obviously I'm cutting down towards the ground, so you can see I'm not cutting the whole way through because I don't want to get my chain down in the dirt. And it would be really nice to use the tractor and the grapple. I could lift this right up and cut it right off the grapple so I wasn't bending over, it's not down in the dirt. But this ground we're on is very, very wet. Very soggy. That's why Olive's having so much fun running through the mud. So if I'd bring the tractor down here, I'd likely get stuck and make more of a mess.
Likely. Pretty sure you have some videos of you being stuck down here.
And for those of you who don't know what a leach field is, we're actually here in the leach field. If you live in a less rural area than us, you may not have a leach field. A leach field is a field just below your septic tank that allows the gray water and the black water to separate and clean itself through the ground. So the solids in your septic tank fall to the bottom. The lightweight stuff floats on top, and the water comes through leach pipes down in through the yard. So this is called a leach field, and in the spring it stays fairly wet. So there's no getting a machine down in here right now. That's why I brought the firewood processor down with me. And she's doing all the hard work while I'm doing all the chainsaw work. Look at her, one hand.
These aren't light.
Beast mode. She says they're not light. Again, I'm not sure what this wood is. You can look there in the grain of it. I can't identify it by the bark or the grain. If you guys know what it is, leave a comment down below. We'd appreciate it. As far as the Farm Boss goes, I probably should have left it to the professionals a long time ago. For $30, that thing's running like a brand new saw. It's been cutting right through easily. You can see when I hit it with the 2-in-1 sharpener, obviously I got one side better than the other because all my cuts are a little bit slanted in this view to the left as I cut down through the tree. So I didn't do a great job sharpening that chain. One side of the teeth seems to be sharper than the other. So I think I've got a cut through right here that will allow me to roll this if Jennifer helps me push it, and then we'll be able to cut through the bottom side so we're not cutting down into the dirt. We'll give it a try. If we had a harness for Olive, we could hook her onto it. I don't know if we'll be able to roll it.
1, 2, 3.
It's not even budging.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna count to, we're gonna rock it,
Here,
and on 3
you're
we'll
gonna
push
try to
it.
rock. You're gonna roll it right on that piece of wood. Look out, girl. Olive, get going.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
job. So what kind of tree is that?
That almost looks like a birch.
Could be.
That's what I think it is. I'm pretty sure we had
See
these.
if you guys agree with Jennifer, is this a birch? And then part B, is birch good firewood? So,
I'm thinking the horizontal, you know, the grain in it.
yeah.
I feel like growing up we had in our white birch trees that's what it looked like. I mean, this isn't white birch, but that's my vote.
Okay.
Birch.
Just a tip, I've learned that even if she's wrong, it's always a good idea to agree with Jennifer. So you can leave a comment below that it's birch, even if you don't think it is.
You should always be nice to your helpers anyway.
That's true.
We can really tell you that you did something to your chainsaw.
Yeah, running great.
Yeah, good job.
So we're still on our test of can we do the whole thing with one tank of gas. We've got quite a bit left to do, we'll see. And I think I'm running out of gas.
Yeah, maybe you can help me
Carry some?
carry those up, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can only do one piece at a time now.
She go inside?
No, she's sitting up where it's dry. You see her?
No. Oh yeah, I see her. Back in the ticks
Yep.
and leaves.
See, the problem is, if you get one more up here, I can carry it. I just can't pick two up.
You don't want to overdo anyway.
No, I'm fine.
They're only going to get heavier as you go.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, there's a piece down on the ground.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah,
It's heavy.
got it.
You're just trying to make me look bad if I only carry one.
Got that right. Oh, it's getting heavier as I go. Maybe he was right. Maybe two's too many. It got too heavy as I went. What's he doing all? You ready to go inside? Not yet.
One saw, one tree, one day, one tank of gas. Let's go. So again, one of the things I like to do is let the dogs do the work. So I'll put the chainsaw the whole way in. And Jennifer, if you want to come around to this side, you'll see where those dogs have dug in, allowing me to apply force down onto the chain.
A dog?
These
Oh,
sharp teeth.
yeah.
See how they left a mark here on the log? Because I've used them as kind of like a pivot point.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing they do is they keep the saw, if you're down against them, they decrease the chances of a kickback because they're biting into the tree trying to keep the saw from coming up.
Oh. Do all chainsaws have that?
If they don't, they should. I believe they do. Older models do not. When I was growing up, chainsaws didn't always have those.
Olive is so ready to go in.
I'm gonna cut a couple more here and then we'll call it
Are
a
your
day.
feet all yucky? Huh.
We are not yet out of gas. We made it with 1 tank of gas. We'll take a look and see how much is left. One thing I did notice coming along the way here, somewhere down there, I must have gotten the dirt a little bit, because if you look at the chainsaw dust here, it's much more dusty. Up when the chain was sharper up there, it's more noodly. So that's what happens as the
Did you say noodly?
But you can actually start to tell when the chain gets dull, because not only is it harder to cut, but as you look at the sawdust coming out the back of the saw, you can see whether it gets more powdery or if it's still more noodly. That's real powdery. See, it doesn't have a whole lot of chips in them. It's more dusty.
Oh yeah. You're just so knowledgeable, you know that? Oh yeah.
Like strips instead of just dust. So the MS271 did a great job. Well worth $30 to take it to the professionals and have them adjust the carburetor the right way. That's something I'm just not very good at, evidently, is adjusting the carburetor. But we're gonna take a look here. We just had that 1 tank of gas. We've actually still got, I'm gonna say, maybe a third of a tank left. Can you see it in there?
I mean, I can see, but I don't think the video can see.
So typical Saturday date night here in Northwest Pennsylvania, cutting up a tree that fell down during the last windstorm. Again, we'd appreciate comments down below what kind of tree you think this is. Remember, Jennifer thinks it's birch.
I don't know, this side, the side that was up didn't look birch, but when we rolled it over, the underside against the ground looked like birch. So
the side that was up to me looked like a pin oak. So maybe this is a type of oak that's just not a red oak or a white oak.
Maybe, but like this side that had been down on the ground,
yeah,
that looks more birch to me, but this does not look birch, so I don't know.
Yeah. So leave a comment down below if you know what kind of wood this is and if it makes good firewood for inside wood stove, or if we should use it for outside firewood, like on nights like tonight if we have a campfire outside. Again, 271 ran great after the tune-up. We didn't even run it out of 1 tank of gas coming the whole way down the log here. I've done some research on the electric Stihl chainsaws, the battery-powered ones. I think they're super interesting. I'd like to give them a try someday. But for now, the 290 and the 271 have always been reliable, great saws. The 271 not quite as reliable, but the 290, very reliable. The 271, I think now that I let the professionals adjust the carburetor, probably much more reliable.
So Olive sees a deer coming in.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. About 6 of them.
It's all right, girl. Coming in to eat. It's all right, let them be.
So thanks for watching. We enjoyed our day here. Hopefully you enjoyed watching us on the homestead, Northwest Pennsylvania, taking care of the property. Projects like this with chainsaws, firewood.
And it's nice, isn't next weekend we get a little bit more daylight?
Next week we turn the clocks.
We spring ahead.
Yes. And it is right now 6:07, and it's starting to get dark back here in the woods, but much better than it was even 3 weeks ago.
And 50 degrees today.
50 degrees today.
60 degrees tomorrow, but rain.
Yep.
But then next week back down to high of like 28.
So if this ground manages to freeze back up, then we'll be able to get back down in here with the side-by-side and haul these up to our wood stack. Here's the stack of firewood that Jennifer made. There's the wood that's still down there. You can see not far from the firewood piles.